Good day, viewers. Thank you for tuning in to Jamaica News Television. These are the top stories we have for today. A teenager accused of fatally shooting a 15-year-old boy during an altercation at a New York park has been taken into custody nearly 2 weeks after the incident. St. Catherine laborer charged with murder of 68-year-old man. Armed robbers allegedly stole close to $2 million from a Western Union location along Shortwood Road in St. Andrew near midday on Saturday. Police in St. Catherine are searching for those responsible for the throat-slashing death of a 70-year-old farmer in Point Hill on Friday. Son gets 6 years for killing disabled father in Portmore domestic dispute. A 26-year-old man has been charged following the seizure of an alleged illegal firearm during a late-night police operation in Salisbury Plain, Stony Hill in St. Andrew. Stay with us for full coverage on these interesting developments. An 18-year-old has been taken into custody in New York nearly 2 weeks after allegedly fatally shooting a teenager during a confrontation at a Queens park. According to reports, Zahir Davis was arrested Friday night around 9:20 p.m. after returning from Jamaica, where he fled the day after the incident. Police say the shooting occurred on April 16th during a gathering of teenagers at a park in Queens. The event, promoted on social media as a water gun activity, reportedly escalated into a violent dispute. It is alleged Davis opened fire during the disturbance, striking 15-year-old Jaden Pierre in the chest. The incident, which was captured on video, caused chaos as panicked teens scrambled to escape. Pierre was rushed to hospital but later pronounced dead. Authorities have confirmed that Davis has since been charged with murder. Police in St. Catherine have charged a laborer in connection with the fatal stabbing of 68-year-old Hartman Johnson, otherwise called Pastor, of Walker's Avenue, Windsor Heights. The accused has been identified as 32-year-old Kieran Palmer, also known as Jetto or Jetty, of Cameron Avenue, Windsor Heights. Reports from the Central Village Police indicate that around 1 a.m. on February 27th, Palmer and Johnson became involved in an altercation that escalated into a physical fight. During the confrontation, Palmer allegedly stabbed Johnson multiple times before fleeing the scene. Residents raised the alarm, and Johnson was rushed to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Palmer was later arrested in his community on Thursday, April 23rd, and subsequently charged. A court date is now being finalized. Police are probing a daring daylight robbery in St. Andrew after armed men allegedly stole close to $2 million from a Western Union outlet along Shortwood Road on Saturday. Preliminary reports indicate that the incident unfolded around 11:40 a.m. when a group of men arrived in a white Toyota Probox motorcar. Upon arrival, they reportedly attacked and beat a security guard stationed outside the establishment before forcing their way inside. Once inside, the robbers are said to have seized a large sum of cash before fleeing the scene. Residents reported hearing explosions during the incident, which triggered panic in the area and prompted calls to the police. Law enforcement officers quickly responded and secured the location. Investigators are now working to determine the exact amount of money stolen, as the initial figure of $2 million remains preliminary and subject to revision. Police in St. Catherine are investigating the brutal killing of a 70-year-old farmer in Point Hill on Friday. The victim has been identified as Harold Hansen, otherwise called Harry, of Mendez District. Reports indicate that around 4:30 p.m., Hansen went to his farm but did not return home. Concerned relatives and residents launched a search and, around 9:30 p.m., discovered him with his throat slashed. When officers from the Point Hill police arrived, they found Hansen lying on his back in the field, still holding a machete, with a wound to his neck. The scene was processed and his body taken to a funeral home, pending a post-mortem examination. No motive has yet been established, and detectives from the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch are leading the probe. A St. Catherine man who fatally stabbed his disabled father during a domestic dispute 5 years ago has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. The convict, 32-year-old laborer Shemar Edwards, otherwise called Shemmy, of Greater Portmore, was sentenced in the St. Catharines Circuit Court on Friday after pleading guilty to manslaughter. He had initially been charged with murder. Edwards was credited with the 21 months he had already spent in custody. The deceased, 52-year-old Delbert Edwards, also a laborer of Greater Portmore, was killed on March 9, 2021. The court heard that sometime after 8 p.m. that night, a dispute broke out between father and son at their home. During the altercation, Edwards used a knife to inflict multiple stab wounds on his father, who was later pronounced dead at the Spanish Town Hospital. Following his arrest, Edwards was charged with murder, but later pleaded guilty to the lesser offense of manslaughter. He was represented in court by attorney-at-law Denise Hinson. Police have charged a 26-year-old man after an alleged illegal firearm was seized during a late-night operation in Salisbury Plain, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. The accused has been identified as Jamar Fitzroy Holder, otherwise called Iceman, of Lacey District, Stony Hill. He is facing charges of possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Reports from the St. Andrew North Division indicate that around 11 p.m. Friday, officers on patrol became suspicious of Holder's behavior. He was stopped and searched, and police say a SAR 9 9mm pistol, along with a magazine containing 12 rounds of ammunition, was found in a bag he was carrying across his shoulder. Holder was taken into custody and later charged. Police note that this marks the 9th illegal firearm seized in the St. Andrew North Division since the start of the year, as law enforcement continues its crackdown on illegal weapons. Thank you for joining us on Jamaica News Television, where we keep you informed, always. Please remember to subscribe to receive the latest news updates. Stay safe.